Hey everyone, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking and welcome to this lesson on 5 books to improve your English. So, one of the most common questions I get from students is, which books should I read to improve my English? This video is for you. So today, I'm going to look at 5 books that I have chosen to help you build your vocabulary, increase your comprehension, and develop your speaking and reading confidence. Now, if you are interested in any of the 5 books that I mentioned in the video, we have a link to Amazon where you can get the ebook version or the print version of the book. Or if you want the audiobook version, you can click the link below to Audible. And there you can sign up for a 30-day trial and get your first book for free. Whew. Now, this video is specifically for intermediate and advanced level students. If you are a beginner student, I probably wouldn't recommend jumping into, this level of literature right now. So this is specifically for intermediate and advanced level students. Let's not waste any more time and let's look at the first book. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. So this is a childhood classic. It is a young adult fiction book. It is only 184 pages, and it's basically a farm story about a girl, a pig, and a spider. There's also a movie out, about the book. So you can check out the book, watch the movie, and you can understand more. So what's cool about this book, it is written in the simple past, so you get a lot of past tense practice, and the vocabulary is not that difficult. So let me read the opening paragraph of chapter 2. So before I start, Fern is the name of the girl, and Wilbur is the name of her pig. Chapter 2, Wilbur. Fern loved Wilbur more than anything. She loved to stroke him, to feed him, to put him to bed. Every morning, as soon as she got up, she warmed his milk, tied his bib on, and held the bottle for him. Every afternoon, when the school bus stopped in front of her house, she jumped out and ran to the kitchen to fix another bottle for him. She fed him again at supper time, and again just before going to bed. Mrs. Arabelle gave him a feeding around noontime each day when Fern was away in school. Wilbur loved his milk, and he was never happier than when Fern was warming up a bottle for him. He would stand and gaze up at her with adoring eyes. So as you can see, it's a cute, sweet story with a very tragic part that I will not spoil here in this video if you have never read the book. This is a book that makes children cry. Maybe it can make you cry. So let's go on to the second book. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, a classic children's book that was also made into a classic children's movie. So this book is around 250 pages. It depends on which version you get. I have this beautiful edition that was given to me as a birthday gift a couple of years ago. And it has like nice pictures and everything. It's kind of pretty. And yeah, it looks really nice. So depending on the version you get, it can be shorter or it can be longer. So this is basically, if you don't know The Wizard of Oz, it's about a girl who goes on an adventure in a fantasy land where she meets, a lion, a tin man, a scarecrow, and she goes with her dog Toto, and there's an evil witch. And it's a really cool adventure story. I actually read it for the first time when I was in my late 20s. And I read it super fast because it's written in such a fun way. There's always something happening. And you're going from one adventure to the next adventure to the next. It doesn't let you breathe. So it's a really fun adventure story. Let me read a little bit of it for you here. Let's just choose a random chapter. Okay, so here's chapter 10, The Guardian of the Gate. It was some time before the cowardly lion awakened, for he had lain among the poppies a long while, breathing in their deadly fragrance. But when he did open his eyes and roll off the truck, he was very glad to find himself still alive. I ran as fast as I could, he said, sitting down and yawning. But the flowers were too strong for me. How did you get me out? So it has a lot of these kind of escape, run sections and adventures, one by one by one. It's really a ton of fun. I really recommend it. Check out The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Either the print version or the audiobook version. They're both really good. Let's look at the next book. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. It's a long title, but it's a very interesting adult fiction book. Now, it's only 221 pages, nice and thin. You can probably finish it in a couple of days. And it's a murder mystery and family drama that's told in the first-person perspective. Now, what's really fascinating about this book is that first-person perspective is told by an autistic boy, a boy with autism. So you see the world through this boy's eyes in a very interesting, fascinating way. What makes this book excellent for English speakers, English learners, is that a lot of the sentences are very short and the boy's mind is very logical. So he doesn't jump around a lot. He says, I like this because this, and then this is because this. So it's very logical and well-paced. So let me read a little bit of this. So again, it's told from the perspective of a boy with autism. He says, this is a murder mystery novel. Shaban said that I should write something I would want to read myself. Mostly, I read books about science and maths. I do not like proper novels. In proper novels, people say things like, I am veined with iron, with silver, and with streaks of common mud. I cannot contract into the firm fist which those clench who do not depend on stimulus. What does this mean? I do not know, nor does Father, nor does Shaban or Mr. Jevons. I have asked them. Shaban has long blonde hair and wears glasses, which are made of green plastic. And Mr. Jevons smells of soap and wears brown shoes that have approximately 60 tiny circular holes in each of them. So he is very detailed. And don't worry, if you didn't understand that part where the boy says, I don't know what this means, I don't know what it means. So he's making a point, right? That some old novels, old fiction is super difficult to understand. And as you can see, his voice, though, is very clear. Now, this is the only book of the 5 where I will specifically recommend that you get the physical version. Because the boy, he draws a lot of diagrams in the book and pictures that really, they like here he talks about the constellation Orion, and he's like, well, that could be anything. It could be a dinosaur if you put it, in any way you want. So I really recommend for this one that you get the physical copy because you really get into the boy's mind and you see how he thinks and the types of puzzles that he works out in his head. So The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Highly recommended. Let's go to the next book. Fallen by David Main. This is the most difficult of the 5 books I'm recommending to you today. Now, this is definitely adult fiction. It's 244 pages, and it is a retelling of the story of Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel in the Bible. So if you like different versions of Bible stories, if you want to, read someone's interpretation of Cain's personality and Abel's personality, God's personality, and Adam and Eve's personality, This is a really fascinating book. What's really cool about it is that it goes backwards in time. When it starts, Abel has been dead for 50 years, and Cain is a very broken old man. And then the book goes back in time, back in time, back in time, step by step, until the last chapter where we have Adam and Eve getting kicked out of paradise, out of Eden for the first time. So it gives a lot of cool texture and context to this classic Bible story. Let me read you just a brief section from the second chapter, which is actually chapter 39. So you start with chapter 40 and you go 40, 39, 38 until you get back to 1. So chapter 39, the brother. Lately, something strange has been happening to Cain. He has been having conversations with his dead brother. In the early morning, during the rift between sleep and consciousness, Abel appears in the hut, squatting at the foot of Cain's sleeping mat, cracking his knuckles or picking his teeth. "And how is it with you lately?" he likes to ask. His voice is colorless like the air. Abel has been gone 50 years now, and Cain is a jumpy, scared old man. So the language is a little more poetic in this book. So I really recommend this for you if you are a more advanced student. And the experiment I would recommend for this is getting the physical book and the audiobook so you can hear the beautiful spoken poetry of some of the language in this book and read it and take your time to underline any vocabulary that might be new for you. All right, let's look at one more book. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Now, I only have listened to the audiobook version of this book, so I don't have the physical copy. However, I have learned through the magic of the internet that it is 311 pages, and the audiobook version that I have on my phone is about 8 hours. I love this book. It's one of the few books where I was finishing it at about 11:30 at night, listening to it on the couch in the living room, and a single tear came down my face as I was listening to the end of this book. I was just like, you go, kid. You did it, okay? So, no spoilers though. So what this book is about and what is so interesting about it, it's about a boy named August who goes to middle school. Now, what is special about August is that he was born with a very rare condition, and he had to have a lot of surgeries on his face. So most of his life, he has received schooling at home from his parents, and this is the first time in grade 5 where his parents say, Augie, that's what they call him, Augie or August, maybe it's time for you to go to a school where you can interact with other kids. Now, of course, because August's face looks different than other kids, he is anxious, he is nervous, but he is also, really cool. He has a sense of humor, and I really like his perspective on life. What is interesting about the book is that it goes into many different points of view. So you start with August's point of view, but then you get a chapter where it's his sister's point of view. It's one of his friends from school point of view. And this is why I loved the audiobook version, because you get a different voice with every single point of view in the audiobook. So you're never confused about who is talking. So August takes up many chapters, and then suddenly it switches to somebody else, and you're like, this is a different voice. Oh, okay, it's this person talking now. It's a beautiful book. Like, I really, really would love for you guys to listen to it or read it and let me know if you loved it as much as I did, because it's wonderful. So that's it, guys. So to review, the 5 books that I recommended in this video were Charlotte's Web, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, Fallen, and Wonder. Now, if you want to check out these books, you can check out the links that are attached to this video if you want to get the ebook version or the print version of any of these books. And again, for the print version, I strongly recommend The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Or if you want the audiobook version, pretty much the other four are really strong audiobooks. Wonder in particular is a great audiobook. You can check out the link attached to this video for Audible. And there you can sign up for a 30-day trial where you get your first audiobook for free. And I can say that I've been with Audible for 3 years now, and I love them. So check them out, and maybe we can talk about the audiobooks that you're listening to. All right, guys, that's it for this lesson. There is no quiz for this one. It's more of a book recommendation lesson. The only thing I'll say is check out the books. Tell me what you think of them. Let me know if you have any vocabulary questions. Till next time, thanks for clicking.